Plane crash story. In the heart of the sky. A normal departure. The sun had just risen over the golden dunes of Dubai. The city shimmered in the morning light as Emirates Flight EK521, a majestic Airbus A380, sat poised at Gate A16 of Dubai International Airport. Bound for London Heathrow, the massive aircraft was filled to capacity. 800 passengers and 26 crew members, each unaware of the storm that lay ahead. Inside the cabin, the mood was relaxed. Flight attendants assisted families, business travelers opened laptops, and children peeked out windows at the bustling tarmac. The aircraft's captain, Karim Al-Farsi, a veteran pilot with over 20 years of experience, performed his final checks in the cockpit beside his first officer, Layla Morgan, a rising star in Emirates ranks. "Clear for takeoff," the tower instructed. The four engines of the A380 roared to life, and with breathtaking force, EK521 lifted off the ground, slicing through the calm Dubai sky. Calm before the fire. For the first 20 minutes, everything was perfect. The flight climbed to 22,000 feet, on its way to a cruising altitude. The passengers enjoyed breakfast service, flipping through in-flight entertainment, sharing laughter and stories as the city below faded into desert. In the cockpit, Karim and Layla monitored the systems. Nothing appeared out of the ordinary. It was shaping up to be just another long-haul flight. But at 8:41 a.m., the first crack in that illusion appeared. A dull thump echoed through the right side of the aircraft, then a loud explosion. Fire in the sky. "Engine 2 failure!" Layla shouted, her eyes glued to the rising warnings on the control panel. Within seconds, the alerts worsened. "Engine 3, also on fire," Karim confirmed, his voice now tense. In the main cabin, the blast had rocked the aircraft. Passengers screamed as flames could be seen flickering from the right wing. The sound of the explosion was followed by silence, and then chaos. Oxygen masks dropped. Smoke began pouring from the air vents. A thick chemical burn filled the air. Flight attendants struggled to keep control as passengers cried, panicked, and clung to each other. Inside the cockpit, Mayday had already been declared. "Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Emirates 521. Dual engine fire returning to Dubai. Request immediate emergency landing." Falling fast. With only 2 engines left and one side completely engulfed, the aircraft's balance was severely compromised. The autopilot disengaged. Karim had to wrestle the yoke manually. Systems began to fail. Altitude indicators flickered. Cabin pressure warnings screamed. They were descending, fast. Air traffic control cleared every runway in sight. Ground crews moved into emergency positions. Foam trucks deployed. Ambulances lined the tarmac. Back inside the plane, Layla's voice came calmly through the intercom. "Brace for impact. Heads down. Stay calm. We are landing." In the cabin, some passengers cried. Others prayed. Many held hands with strangers, forming silent bonds born of fear and hope. The final approach. The Dubai skyline reappeared in the cockpit window. Karim had the airport in sight, but they were too high, too fast, and running out of time. Smoke now clouded the windshield. Visibility dropped. The fire was eating away at the right wing, making every second critical. "Prepare to dump fuel. Full emergency configuration," Karim ordered. The aircraft came in, descending like a wounded bird. Everyone on the ground watched in horror as the enormous A380 approached the runway at a dangerously steep angle. "Gear down! Full flaps!" Layla called out, her hands steady despite the chaos around her. "Hang on," Karim whispered under his breath. The aircraft crossed the threshold of the runway. And then everything went black. Fire, chaos, and miracles. The impact. The wheels of Emirates Flight EK521 hit the runway, but not as planned. The right side of the aircraft, weakened by the dual engine fire, buckled under the stress. The nose gear collapsed immediately on touchdown. The aircraft slammed hard into the tarmac. nose first, skidding violently with sparks flying in every direction. Inside, passengers were thrown forward. Luggage burst from overhead bins. People screamed as metal groaned and flames shot through the ruptured wing. The impact shattered windows, and smoke engulfed the forward cabin. Then came the explosion. The damaged right wing, soaked in leaking fuel, ignited in a fiery blast that rocked the rear of the aircraft. A massive ball of fire engulfed the back of the A380. The right engine tore off completely and rolled across the tarmac in a flaming heap. Heroes in the fire. Inside the cockpit, First Officer Layla had regained her footing. She unbuckled, turned, and saw that Kareem was unconscious. The heat was unbearable, but she pulled him from his seat, kicked open the side hatch, and pushed him onto the slide. She was the last crew member to exit before the cockpit exploded behind her. In the rear cabin, Flight Attendant Yasmin Haider had formed a human chain with 2 passengers to help a group of elderly travelers stuck between rows. Despite flames closing in, she refused to leave. Not until the final person was out. She made it, just seconds before the ceiling collapsed. Aftermath. In under 8 minutes, 702 people had escaped the burning A380. Injured, shocked, many covered in burns and bruises, but alive. But not all were so fortunate. 96 lives were lost that day, including 83 passengers, 9 crew members, and 4 airport workers caught in the aftermath. Some had been trapped by debris. Others were caught in the explosion. The grief was immense. Families wept. The world watched. The charred remains of Emirates Flight EK521 lay across runway 3L, a massive broken machine that just hours earlier had symbolized the power of modern aviation. A story never forgotten. Months later, a memorial was built outside Dubai International Airport. A curved sculpture of the A380's broken tail, inscribed with the names of the 96 souls who perished. Captain Kareem and First Officer Layla were awarded the Medal of Valor by the UAE. Flight attendants like Yasmin Haider became symbols of heroism, appearing on news programs and honored in aviation safety conferences. But the pain remained. Emirates Flight EK521 became one of the most shocking and emotional disasters in the history of aviation. A brutal reminder that even the most advanced aircraft can fall to human error. Yet, in the face of fire and death, hundreds lived because of courage, quick thinking, and the unbreakable will to survive. The end story. This is not real story.